Hello and welcome back to another year of the State of the Union. Come on in and enjoy, and we can watch together. I want to start off, first of all, just by troubleshooting a little bit here because I want to make sure everything is absolutely perfect. So, usually in years past, I do something like this. There we go. That's what I wanted. Everyone can hear me okay. Now, can you hear the background? Everyone can hear me okay. Now, can you hear the background? Everyone can hear me okay. Now, can you hear the background? All right. Perfecto. All right. So we're just waiting. We're waiting a little bit for everyone to roll in. And it's 5 after 9 right now. So we'll probably be waiting maybe for, I would say, maximum 10 more minutes for the president to arrive. Oh, that's why. Sorry about that. I thought we were just staring at the door with no volume, but I had it paused. All right. So what I'm going to do is we're going to watch, and then when it's over, I'll do what I always do, and I'll give you some commentary on how I think it went, and I'll give you some commentary throughout, of course. I always dress up for State of the Union because it's the State of the Union. It's cool. It's classy. It's yet another one of those things that America does that has pageantry left in it. Everything has been, well, I'm not going to get into a rant like 2 minutes in, but we don't have pageantry anymore anywhere. We don't have class. This is one of the classiest nights in politics. So I don't really care if I'm nerding out or whatever. I'm just I enjoy it. And I know he's probably going to say the same thing he usually says every year, but it's what I am looking forward to is what happens with the Supreme Court. I think he's just going to ream him out, but we'll see. All right, who's entering?
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
Oh, I didn't think we'd be so quick here. Oh, his hair is blowing. His hair is blowing everywhere. What an entrance. This is a horrible view. Fox News, you're failing. What is this? We can't see the president. 1 second. Let me see if I can get another feed. This is brutal. Hold on. We got to get another feed. This is brutal. Fox News is failing. Okay, here we go. Let's switch. 1 second. 1 second. There we go. Man, oh man. Fox News, absolutely brutal. Sorry about that. Apologies. All right. All right.
Trying to keep them on time. I'm gonna try a selfie.
I just heard someone say, I'm going to try a selfie. Fox can't seem to find the president. They've got every single angle except for him. It's now on JD Vance. Oh, they finally found him. Al Green. He's holding a sign of which I probably cannot read. Did he snub the Supreme Court justices? Oh, I should have been watching there. What happened? By the way, if you're watching on X, you can subscribe. Follow me on X. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Florida Millennial. And comment in the comments. I'm going to read all the comments at the end, as I always do. Depending on how many there is. There's Fetterman. Base John Fetterman. There he is, the king. King of America. This is his 6th State of the Union. Technically his 4th, because the one after the inauguration doesn't count as a State of the Union. It's just a joint session. How's the volume? All right, I'm going to up the volume a bit. You don't want to hear me. You want to hear Trump. Something's going on here. He's not going up to the podium. I think he's going to bring someone up or something. Something's happening. Something's going on here. He's not going up to the podium. I think. Sorry.
Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you the President of the United States.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. It's really an honor. Speaker Johnson, Vice President Vance, First Lady of the United States.
Barron. Barron is in the house.
Second Lady of the United States. Members of Congress and my fellow Americans. Our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before.
Richer.
Less than 5 months from now, our country will celebrate an epic milestone in American history, the 250th anniversary of our glorious American independence. This July 4th, we will mark 2.5 centuries of liberty and triumph, progress and freedom in the most incredible and exceptional nation ever to exist on the face of the earth. And you've seen nothing yet. We're going to do better and better and better. This is the golden age of America. When I last spoke in this chamber 12 months ago, I had just inherited a nation in crisis with a stagnant economy, inflation at record levels, a wide open border, horrendous recruitment for military and police, rampant crime at home, and wars and chaos all over the world. But tonight, after just 1 year, I can say with dignity and pride that we have achieved a transformation like no one has ever seen before, and a turnaround for the ages. It is indeed a turnaround for the ages.
Turnaround for the ages. Oh, he's already walking out, so he doesn't have to be kicked out.
And we will never go back to where we were just a very short time ago. We're not going back. Today, our border is secure.
It's like an annual tradition. Al
Thank
Green
you.
just
Today, our border is
16.
secure. Our spirit is restored. Inflation is plummeting. Incomes are rising fast. The roaring economy is roaring like never before. And our enemies are scared. Our military and police are stacked. And America is respected again, perhaps like never before.
The enemies are scared.
After 4 years in which millions and millions of illegal aliens poured across our borders, totally unvetted and unchecked, we now have the strongest and most secure border in American history by far. In the past 9 months, 0 illegal aliens have been admitted to the United States. But we will always allow people to come in legally, people that will love our country and will work hard to maintain our country. The flow of deadly fentanyl across our border is down by a record 56% in 1 year. And last year, the murder rate saw its single largest decline in recorded history. This is the biggest decline, think of it, in recorded history, the lowest number in over 125 years, year 1900. In fact, substantially before my wonderful father, I had a wonderful father, Fred, before he was born, substantially before he was born. That's a long time ago. He wouldn't like me to say that, but that's a long time ago. The Biden administration and its allies in Congress gave us the worst inflation in the history of our country. But in 12 months, my administration has driven core inflation down to the lowest level in more than 5 years. And in the last 3 months of 2025, it was down to 1.7%. Gasoline, which reached a peak of over $6 a gallon in some states under my predecessor, it was quite honestly a disaster, is now below $2.30 a gallon in most states, and in some places, $1.99 a gallon. And when I visited the great state of Iowa just a few weeks ago, I even saw $1.85 a gallon for gasoline.
$1.85. I think here in Florida, it's a little higher than that.
Mortgage rates are the lowest in 4 years and falling fast, and the annual cost of a typical new mortgage is down almost $5,000 just since I took office. 1 year. And low interest rates will solve the Biden-created housing problem well, at the same time protecting the values of those people who already own a house that really feel rich for the first time in their lives. We want to protect those values. We want to keep those values up. We're going to do both. And we are going to keep it that way. The stock market has set 53 all-time record highs since the election. Think of that. 1 year. Boosting pensions, 401ks, and retirement accounts for the millions and millions of Americans. They're all gaining. Everybody's up, way up. In 4 long years, the last administration got less than $1 trillion in new investment in the United States. And when I say less, substantially less. In 12 months, I secured commitments for more than $18 trillion pouring in from all over the globe.
Elizabeth Warren looking joyful as ever.
Think of it, much less than $1 trillion for 4 years versus much more than $18 trillion for 1 year. What a difference a president makes.
What a difference.
A short time ago, we were a dead country. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world, the hottest.
True. True.
As thousands of new businesses are forming in factories, plants, and laboratories are being built, we have added 70,000 new construction jobs in just a very short period of time. It's getting bigger and bigger and stronger. Nobody can believe what they're watching. American oil production is up by more than 600,000 barrels a day, and we just received from our new friend and partner, Venezuela, more than 80 million barrels of oil.
Take the oil.
American natural gas production is at an all-time high because I kept my promise to drill, baby, drill. More Americans are working today than at any time in the history of our country. Think about that. Any time in the history of our country, more working today. And 100% of all jobs created under my administration have been in the private sector. We ended DEI in America. We cut a record number of job-killing regulations, and in 1 year, we have lifted 2.4 million Americans, a record, off of food stamps. And for all of these reasons, I say tonight, members of Congress, the state of our union is strong. Our country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it. People are asking me, please, 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 Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore. We're not used to winning in our country. Until you came along, we're just always losing, but now we're winning too much. And I say, no, 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 you're going to win again. You're going to win big. You're going to win bigger than ever. And to prove that point,
The team.
here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud. The
Bring 'em
men's
out.
Gold medal
Whoa.
Olympic hockey team. Come on in.
He's breaking the microphone. He's so excited. Yes. Oh, yeah. Tkachuk. What a year Matthew Tkachuk has had. Hey, what a 3 years. Stanley Cup, gold medal. Now he's at the State of the Union. Oh my gosh. Amazing. Guy knows how to put on a show. What can I tell you? Now they have to stand there. The whole speech.
Go ahead.
Taking photos. Jack Hughes, Quinn Hughes. Oh my gosh. Look, everyone's standing, even the Democrats. Jack Hughes made Elizabeth Warren stand up and clap at Trump's State of the Union.
That's the first time I've ever seen them get up.
See?
And actually, not all of them did get up. But they beat a fantastic Canadian team in overtime, as everybody saw, as did the American women who will soon be coming to the White House.
Really? I thought they weren't. He's like, I'm going to make them. Drag them in. Great moment. Great moment.
They were
Well
in
done.
the Oval Office before. And I just want to say a second very big congratulations to Team USA. But I have to say that, and I told them this, and we took a vote of the team. I said, anybody votes no, I'm not doing it. So they stood there, and they weren't about to say no, because I've never seen a goaltender play as well as goalie Connor Hellebuck.
These guys are like, how the heck did we end up here?
Think of it, 46 shots on goal. And I asked him, The one shot, the one where you put your stick in the back and it hit the neck of your stick and bounced off. You practiced that, or was that a little lucky? He refused to
He's
answer
now
that
just
question.
ad-libbing. He's not even giving a State of the Union right
But
now.
I
He's
just want to tell you that the members of this great hockey squad will be very happy to hear, based on their vote and my vote, and in this case, my vote was more important, that I will soon be presenting Connor with our highest civilian honor, which we will be given and which has been given to many athletes over the years. But when I say many, not too many, like 12, it's called the highest civilian honor in our country, the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
If you remember, that's the one that he gave Rush Limbaugh. Have you ever seen a president more
Great
confident
athletes have gotten
on
that very
stage
great.
giving the State of
That's-
the Union?
And I thought he deserved it. And I did take a
And
vote,
Trump?
every single one of them. I said, I'm not giving it if anybody goes no. And every single one of them rapidly put up their hand. So I want to thank you. What a special
Rapidly.
job you did. What special champions you are. Thank you very much.
If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, leave a comment, like the video. Thank you for joining.
I'm also pleased to say that the next time the Olympic torch is lit, it will be here in America for the 2028 Olympics. And it's the summer version right in Los Angeles. We're going to do a good job in Los Angeles.
They're going to clean that city up now. We
And
watch.
Los Angeles is going to be safe, just like Washington, D.C. is now one of the safest cities in the country. And this year, and I must say I got them both. I got them in the first term, and I was disappointed because I didn't think I'd be the president when this happened. But strange things took place. And now I've got them because I got the Olympics and I got the 2026 FIFA World Cup. And I wanted to claim the 250th, but I didn't get away with that one. I couldn't claim that one for myself. But we're getting the World Cup. So we have the World Cup and the Olympics coming. And that is exciting news.
This is like a true State of the Union. Like he's just updating on everything going on. So we got the Olympics coming
Well,
up.
this will be a year
We got the
to
World Cup.
celebrate our country.
We won the gold medal.
And the
We're
heroes who
awesome.
have
We're rich.
kept it free.
Thank you. Good night.
Men like Buddy Taggart. At age 17, Buddy volunteered to defend America in World War II, serving in the Pacific under the great General Douglas MacArthur. He fought bravely in the famous Battle of Manila, worked so hard. He was badly wounded and almost killed by enemy machine guns in Luzon. And 81 years ago this month, he liberated the largest internment camp in the Philippines, one of the largest anywhere in the world. But he earned many honors, including a Purple Heart and a Bronze Star, came home, started a family, and tonight he is in the gallery looking forward to July 4th, 2026, his 100th birthday.
Holy, that guy's 100. Did I miss something? He's 100. He looks like a buddy, I'll tell you. That guy's a real buddy.
So, Buddy, you're a brave man, and we salute you. Even in times of challenge, setback, and immense heartache, the spirit of 1776 has always shone through very brightly. It was July 4th of last year when floodwaters tore through a girls' summer camp in Central Texas. One of the worst things I've ever seen. I was there, rising 26 feet in the matter of minutes, tragically claiming many, many lives. You all remember that one. As the waters threatened to sweep her away, 11-year-old Millie Kate McClymont closed her eyes and prayed to God. She thought she was going to die. Those prayers were answered when Coast Guard rescue swimmer Scott Ruskin descended from a helicopter above. Nobody knew where he came from. It was Scott's first ever rescue mission. A young guy, but very brave, very, very top, always top in his class. And he lifted not just Millie Kate, but 164 others to safety. People watched Scott from a distance, and they couldn't believe what they were seeing. The winds were blowing, the rain was pouring, everything was going, and that rapid water, nobody's ever seen anything like it. They said, wow, that's something. Tonight, Scott and Millie Kate are here together, reunited for the very first time. Thank you, Scott, Millie Kate. And Petty Officer Ruskin, I'm pleased to inform you that I am now awarding you the Legion of Merit for extraordinary heroism, which is what it was, extraordinary heroism. Thank you.
He's just handing out awards to everybody tonight.
And I'd like to have the military aide to please come down and take care of the service. Military aide, thank you very much. Take care of that very important service. Thank you very much. From 1776 to today, every generation of Americans has stepped forward to defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And they're really doing it for the next generation. But now it's our turn. Together, we're building a nation where every child has the chance to reach higher and go further, where government answers to the people, not the powerful, and where the interests of hardworking American citizens are always our first and ultimate concern. That is the debt we owe to the heroes who came before us, and that is the promise we must keep to America for our 250th year. Last year, I urged this Congress to begin the mission by passing the largest tax cuts in American history, and our Republican majorities delivered so beautifully. Thank you, Republicans. All Democrats, every single one of them, voted against these really important and very necessary massive tax cuts.
Oh, man.
They wanted large-scale tax increases to hurt the people instead. But we held strong, and with the
Chuck
great,
Schumer.
big, beautiful bill, we gave you no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. And we also made interest on auto loans tax deductible the first time, but only if the car is made in America. Recently in Pennsylvania, I met Megan Hemhauser, a devoted mom who's homeschools her children, beautiful, 2 children, during the day while waiting tables at night as her husband works overtime operating very heavy equipment. Megan is here this evening and she's happy to tell you that she is so much richer because with no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and our expanded child tax credit done again by Republicans, Megan and her husband will take home more than $5,000 extra just for the year, cutting her tax bill in more than half. Megan, please stand up. We're fighting for you, Megan. Thank you. Thank you, Megan. We're fighting for you, Megan. Under our bill, parents like Megan can also activate their children's brand new Trump accounts. And I didn't name it. I did not name that. Nobody believes me, but I did not name it. It was named by a very tall man sitting right there in the third row. Nice man, a good man. Tax-free investment accounts for every American child. This is something that's so special and has taken off and gone through the roof. Millions will be pre-funded courtesy of the U.S. Treasury and private individuals like Michael and Susan Dell, who have donated $6.25 billion to fund the Trump accounts for 25 million American children. They're great people. You know, I asked Michael Dell, how do you make all that money? He said, well, I just sat on my dorm in school and I made computers and I'd sell them to people. And I just kept selling and selling and selling. And pretty amazing story. That's called the American dream. He sold a lot of computers, a lot of those laptops. So I congratulate him on that. But I really thank him and Susan, as well as others like Brad Gerstner, a very tremendous guy. He was behind it right from the beginning. Brad Gerstner. Thank you, Brad.
So are we getting to the speech soon, or are we just going to be like a whole night of call-outs?
So with modest additional contributions, these young people's accounts could grow to over $100,000 or more by the time they turn 18. Think of it. How much money is that for somebody that started with nothing? Over 100,000, could be much more than that. To make this investment in our children's future, go to trumpaccounts.gov, trumpaccounts.gov. And a lot of people are doing it. It's setting every record in the book. It's popular. They knew what it was going to take. I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of the people that got it started. And now it's just taken off. One of the primary reasons for our country's stunning economic turnaround, the biggest in history, where the Dow Jones broke 50,000 4 years ahead of schedule, and the S&P hit 7,000, where it wasn't supposed to do it for many years, were tariffs. I used these tariffs,
Here we go.
took in hundreds of billions of dollars to make great deals for our country, both economically and on a national security basis. Everything was working well. Countries that were ripping us off for decades are now paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. They were ripping us so badly, you all know that. Everybody knows it. Even the Democrats know it. They just don't want to say it. And yet these countries are now happy, and so are we. We made deals. The deals are all done. And they're happy. They're not making money like they used to, but we're making a lot of money. There was no inflation, tremendous growth. And the big story was how Donald Trump called the economy correctly and 22 Nobel Prize winners in economics didn't. They got it totally wrong. They got it really wrong. And then just 4 days ago, an unfortunate ruling from the United States Supreme Court. It just came down. It came down. Very unfortunate ruling. But the good news is that almost all countries and corporations want to keep the deal that they already made, right, Scott? Knowing that the legal power that I, as president, have to make a new deal could be far worse for them, and therefore they will continue to work along the same successful path that we had negotiated before the Supreme Court's unfortunate involvement. So despite the disappointing ruling, these powerful country-saving, it's saving our country, the kind of money we're taking in, peace-protecting. Many of the wars I settled was because of the threat of tariffs. I wouldn't have been able to settle them without. Will remain in place under fully approved and tested alternative legal statutes. And they have been tested for a long time. They're a little more complex, but they're actually probably better, leading to a solution that will be even stronger than before. Congressional action will not be necessary. It's already time tested and approved. And as time goes by, I believe the tariffs paid for by foreign countries will, like in the past, substantially replace the modern day system of income tax, taking a great financial burden off the people that I love. Right? Moving forward, factories, jobs, investment, and trillions of dollars will continue pouring into the United States of America because we finally have a president who puts America first. I put America first. I love America. For decades before I came along, we had the exact opposite. From trade to healthcare, from energy to immigration, everything was stolen and rigged in order to drain the wealth out of the productive, hardworking people who make our country.
Well, that was kind of
great, who
underwhelming.
make
I
our
thought he would
country
go
run.
go after the
Under
judges harder.
Biden and his corrupt partners in Congress and beyond, it reached a breaking point with the Green New scam, open borders for everyone. They poured in by the millions and millions from prisons, from mental institutions. They were murderers, 11,888 murders. They came into our country. You allowed that to happen. And record-setting inflation that cost
That's true.
the typical family $34,000 in just a speck of time. Now the same people in this chamber who voted for those disasters suddenly used the word affordability, a word. They just used it. Somebody gave it to them, knowing full well that they caused and created the increased prices that all of our citizens had to endure. You caused that problem. You caused that problem.
That's a good line right there. That's the best thing he said so far. You caused this problem.
They knew their statements were a lie. They knew it. They knew their statements were a dirty, rotten lie. Their policies created the high prices. Our policies are rapidly ending them. We are doing really well. Those prices are plummeting downward. The price of eggs is down 60%. Madam Secretary, thank you. The cost of chicken, butter, fruit, hotels, automobiles, rent is lower today than when I took office by a lot. And even beef, which was very high, is starting to come down significantly. Just hold on a little while. We're getting it down. And soon you will see numbers that few people would think were possible to achieve just a short time ago. Nobody can believe when they see the kind of numbers, and especially energy, when they see energy going down to numbers like that, they cannot believe it. It's like another big tax cut. I'm also confronting one of the biggest ripoffs of our times, the crushing cost of health care caused by you. Since the passage of the Unaffordable Care Act, sometimes referred to as Obamacare, big insurance companies have gotten rich. It was meant for the insurance companies, not for the people. With our government giving them hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars a year as their stock prices soared 1,000, 1,200, 1,400, and even 1,700%, like nothing else. That's why I introduced the great healthcare plan. I want to stop all payments to big insurance companies and instead give that money directly to the people so they can buy their own health care, which will be better health care at a much lower cost. In addition, my plan requires maximum price transparency. That's a big deal. Sounds so simple, so big. And I did that in my first term, and the Democrats immediately terminated it with full knowledge that they were doing a very bad thing for the people. Costs were going to go way up, and that's what happened. And now I'm bringing them way down on health care and everything else. I'm also ending the wildly inflated cost of prescription drugs like has never happened before. Other presidents tried to do it, but they never could. They tried. Most didn't try, actually. But they tried. They said they tried. They couldn't do it. They didn't even come close. They were all talk and no action. But I got it done. Under my just enacted most favored nation agreements, Americans who have for decades paid by far the highest prices of any nation anywhere in the world for prescription drugs will now pay the lowest price anywhere in the world for drugs. Anywhere, the lowest price. So in my first year of the second term, should be my third term, but strange things happen. I took prescription drugs.
He does make me laugh. He makes me laugh.
From the highest price in the entire world to the lowest. That's a big achievement. The result is price differences of 300, 400, 500, 600% and more. All available right now at a new website called TrumpRx.gov. And I didn't name that one either, by the way. And here tonight is the very first customer ever to get that big discount, and it is big. Catherine Rayner. For 5 years, she and her husband had struggled with infertility, and they turned to IVF.
It used to be
One
that
drug has been costing
the State of the
Catherine
Union, they'd have like a couple
$4,000
people in the crowd they'd call out, like
But a
maybe
few
one or
weeks ago,
two.
she
Now
logged
it's like the
onto
whole
the
speech is
Trump
just
RX
like
website and got that
Jenny
same drug that
Robinson
cost
from
$4,000
Dayton,
got it for
Ohio
under
had blah, 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 blah,
$500.
blah. She's
A
here tonight with
reduction
us.
of
It's like the
much
whole
more,
speech.
actually, than $3,500. Catherine, we are all praying for you, and you're going to be a great mom.
And this is honestly just like he's been told he has to do this for midterms to get his approval rating up. Have all these women in the audience that you call out one after another. Not sure how effective it is, to be honest.
I'm calling on Congress to codify my most favored nation program into law. Now, the one thing I'm not sure it matters because it's going to be very hard for somebody that comes along after me to say, let's raise drug prices by 700 or 800%. But John and Mike, if you don't mind, codify it anyway. They may do it. Codify it anyway. Thank you. Many Americans are also concerned that energy demand from AI data centers could unfairly drive up their electric utility bills. Tonight, I'm pleased to announce that I have negotiated the new rate Taxpayer Protection Pledge. You know what that is? We're telling the major tech companies that they have the obligation to provide for their own power needs. They can build their own power plants as part of their factory so that no one's prices will go up. And in many cases, prices of electricity will go down for the community, and very substantially down. This is a unique strategy never used in this country before. We have an old grid. It could never handle the kind of numbers, the amount of electricity that's needed. So I'm telling them they can build their own plant. They're going to produce their own electricity. It will ensure the company's ability to get electricity while at the same time lowering prices of electricity for you, and could be very substantial for all of you cities and towns. You're going to see some good things happen over the next number of years. Another pillar of the American dream that has been under attack is home ownership. With us tonight is Rachel
Guy's gonna be a
Wiggins,
meme.
mom of two from Houston. She placed bids on 20 homes and lost all of those bids to gigantic investment firms that bypassed inspection, paid all cash, and turned those houses into rentals, stealing away her American dream. She was devastated. Stories like this are why last month I signed executive order to ban large Wall Street investment firms from buying up in the thousands single-family homes.
That's actually a very popular policy. That's something he should be talking more about, actually.
And now I'm asking Congress to
That's true
make that
populism
ban
right there.
permanent, because homes for people, really, that's what we want. We want homes for people, not for corporations. Corporations are doing just fine. Rachel, thank you very much. Good luck with your home. You'll get one soon. We're also working to make it easier for Americans to save for retirement. And under this administration, we will always protect Social Security and Medicare. They are not protecting it for our seniors. We will always protect Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid.
This is basically like a midterm speech. It's like this isn't like a Trump speech.
Since I took office,
This is a midterm speech.
typical 401k balance is up by at least $30,000. That's a lot of money. We have millions and millions of people, because the stock market has done so well, setting all those records. Your 401ks are way up. Yet half of all of working Americans still do not have access to a retirement plan with matching contributions from an employer. To remedy this gross disparity, I'm announcing that next year my administration will give these often forgotten American workers, great people, the people that built our country, access to the same type of retirement plan offered to every federal worker. We will match your contribution with up to $1,000 each year. As we ensure that all Americans can profit from a rising stock market, let's also ensure that members of Congress cannot corruptly profit from using insider information. They stood up for that. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Did Nancy Pelosi stand up if she was here? Doubt it. Pass the Stop
Doubt it.
Insider Trading Act without delay.
Vietnam Dick Blumenthal.
I wasn't sure if anybody even on this side was going to applaud.
Cameraman knew what he was
I'm
doing
very
there.
Impressed. Thank you. I'm very impressed. But when it comes to the corruption that is plundering, it's plundering America. There's been no more stunning example than Minnesota, where members of the Somali community have pillaged an estimated $19 billion from the American taxpayer. Oh, we have all the information. And in actuality, the number is much higher than that. And California, Massachusetts, Maine, and many other states are even worse. This is the kind of corruption that shreds the fabric of a nation, and we are working on it like you wouldn't believe. So tonight, although started 4 months ago, I am officially announcing the war on fraud to be led by our great Vice President J.D. Vance.
He's like, uh-oh. They're coming.
We'll get it done. And if we're able to find enough of that fraud, we will actually have a balanced budget overnight. It'll go very quickly. That's the kind of money you're talking about. We'll balance our budget. The Somali pirates who ransacked Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world where bribery, corruption, and lawlessness are the norm, not the exception. Importing these cultures through unrestricted immigration and open borders brings those problems right here to the USA. And it is the American people who pay the price in higher medical bills, car insurance rates, rent, taxes, and perhaps most importantly, crime. We will take care of this problem. We're going to take care of this problem. We are not playing games. Delilah.
This is good. The last 2 minutes have been really good.
Delilah Colton was only 5 years old in June 2024 when a 18-wheel tractor trailer plowed into her stopped car traveling at 60 miles an hour or more. The driver was an illegal alien let in by Joe Biden and given a commercial driver's license by open borders politicians in California. Doctors said Delilah would never be able to walk or talk, have a good life. She wouldn't even be able to eat again. But against all odds, she is now in the first grade learning to walk. And she's here this evening with her dad, Marcus, a fantastic man. Delilah, please, you are a great inspiration. Please stand up. Thank you, Delilah. Many, if not most, illegal aliens do not speak English and cannot read even the most basic road signs as to direction, speed, danger, or location. That's why tonight I'm calling on Congress to pass what we will call the Delilah Law, barring any state from granting commercial driver's licenses to illegal aliens.
I mean, shouldn't that be the law anyway? I feel like now we're making declarations that should have been laws to begin with.
I hosted a ceremony with Americans who lost their treasured loved ones to the scourge of illegal immigration. People came into our country, how we allowed this to happen with our open borders. These are the angel moms and families that for decades our government betrayed and our media totally ignored. It was terrible. Hard to believe, actually. In 2023, a 16-year-old high school cheerleader named Elizabeth Medina was supposed to perform in her town's Christmas parade, but she never arrived. Her mother, Jacqueline, went home to look for her, and she found her lying dead in a bathtub, bleeding profusely after being stabbed 25 times. Elizabeth's killer was a previously arrested illegal alien who had broken in and brutally extinguished the brightest light in her family's life, violently and viciously. Her heartbroken mother is in the gallery to remind everyone in this chamber exactly why we are deporting illegal alien criminals to our country at record numbers, and we're getting them the hell out of here fast. We don't want them. Thank you very much, Jacqueline. Thank you. We can never forget that many in this room not only allowed the border invasion to happen before I got involved, but indeed they would do it all over again if they ever had the chance. If they ever got elected, they would open up those borders to some of the worst criminals anywhere in the world. The only thing standing between Americans and a wide open border right now is President Donald J. Trump and our great Republican patriots in Congress. Thank you. Thank you. As we speak, Democrats in this chamber have cut off all funding for the Department of Homeland Security. It's all cut off. It's all cut off. They have instituted another Democrat shutdown, the first one costing us 2 points on GDP. 2 points we lost on GDP, which probably made them quite happy, actually. Now they have closed the agency responsible for protecting Americans from terrorists and murderers. Tonight, I'm demanding the full and immediate restoration of all funding for the border security, homeland security of the United States, and also for helping people clean up their snow. We have no money because of the Democrats, and it would be nice. I'd love to give you a hand at cleaning it up, but you gave no money. Nobody's getting paid. It's a shame. So you have to think about it. We have, in case you didn't know, pretty large snowstorm out there. One of the great things about the State of the Union is how it gives Americans the chance to see clearly what their representatives really believe. So tonight, I'm inviting every legislator to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
The whole Democrat Party is sitting. Oh my God. Crazy. Literally crazy. Look, and then he's pointing them all out. They're like, no, we don't care about American citizens first. That's a tough one. I think we're gonna sit out that one. Playing right into his game. Just look at them. The party gets 50% of the vote. Well, actually 48. But that was kind of clever, actually. Okay, I'll give him props for that. I give him props for the Somali section and this one. This guy. Only famous because of what happened to his wife, which was horrible, but that's the only reason why he's even a politician. Guy's an astronaut. This is going to be a record for standing ovation. Longest ever.
Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities.
Look at that lunatic.
Protect the criminals and enact
Lunatic.
serious penalties for public
Lunatic.
officials
Lunatic.
who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country. They're blocking.
Look at she's seething.
the removal
She knows it's
of
over.
these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Look at them. They know it's over. It's over. The whole scheme, the fraud, it's all over. If they can actually end it, which I will discuss that after the speech is over.
And perhaps most importantly, I'm asking you to approve the Save America Act. To stop illegal aliens and others who are unpermitted persons from voting in our sacred American elections. That cheating is rampant in our elections. It's rampant. It's very simple. All voters must show voter ID.
Look, they won't even stand for voter ID. Voter ID.
All voters must show
Literally
proof
a
of
crazy party.
citizenship in order to vote.
Look, none of them will stand. Watch, none of them. Look. They don't think you should be a citizen to vote.
Mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. None. And this should be an easy one. And by the way, it's polling at 89%, including Democrats. 89%. And even the new communist mayor of New York City, I think he's a nice guy. Speak to him a lot.
Even the communist mayor, I think he's a nice guy. But
people to shovel snow. They got hit hard. Wants them to shovel snow, but if you apply for that job, you need to show 2 original forms of ID and a Social Security card. Yet they don't want identification for the greatest privilege of them all, voting in America. No, it's no good. No good. Both Republicans and Democrats overwhelmingly.
I like that little
agree
shouting
on the
match between
policy
him and what's her
we
name?
just
Omar.
enunciated. And Congress
Ilhan Omar.
should unite and enact this common sense, country-saving legislation right now, and it should be before anything else happens. And the reason they don't want to do it, why would anybody not want voter ID? One reason, because they want to cheat. There's only one reason. They make up all excuses. They say it's racist. They come up with things. You almost say, what imagination they have.
He's just
They
riffing
want
now.
to cheat. They have cheated, and their policy is so bad that the only way they can get elected is to cheat. And we're going to stop it. We have to stop it, Josh.
Who did he just say we have to stop it? Who did he call out?
And here is one more opportunity to show common sense in government. In the gallery tonight are Sage Blair and her mother, Michelle. In 2021, Sage was 14 when school officials in Virginia sought to socially transition her to a new gender, treating her as a boy and hiding it from her parents. Hard to believe, isn't it? Before long, a confused Sage ran away from home after she was found in a horrific situation in Maryland. A left-wing judge refused to return Sage to her parents because they did not immediately state that their daughter was their son. Sage was thrown into an all-boys state home and suffered terribly for a long time. But today, all of that is behind them because Sage is a proud and wonderful young woman with a full ride scholarship to Liberty University. Sage and Michelle, please stand up.
This is like the 10th call out.
And thank you for your great bravery. And who can believe that we're even speaking about things like this? 15 years ago, if somebody was up here and said that, they'd say, what's wrong with him? And now we have to say it because it's going on all over numerous states without even telling the parents. But surely we can all agree no state can be allowed to rip children from their parents' arms and transition them to a new gender against the parents' will. Who would believe that we've been talking about this? We must ban it, and we must ban it immediately.
Hair's going crazy.
Look, nobody stands up. These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy.
True. It's true. No lies detected there.
Amazing.
People know they're crazy. I'll save it for after.
Boy, oh boy. We're lucky we have a country. With people like this, Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped it just in the nick of time, didn't we?
Look at them all in their dumb white shirts and jackets. Like, that thing is old now. You guys did that in like 2017 for Hillary losing.
No one cares more about protecting America's youth than our wonderful First Lady. Now a movie star. She's a movie star. Can you believe it? Who would have believed that?
So stoic.
Over the past year, she has had an incredible impact championing AI legislation, advancing a landmark executive order on foster care.
Look at that
and
perfect
helping
face.
secure $30
Perfect
million
woman. Look at
to
that.
launch the Melania Trump Foster Youth
Like,
to Independence Initiative. It's a tremendous, really a tremendous thing that happened and had a lot of bipartisan support. She gets much better
Baron.
bipartisan support than I do. I get none. She gets a lot. Someday you're going to have to tell me how you did that. And students and educators in every state have joined the First Lady's efforts in the presidential AI challenge, keeping America's next generation positioned to succeed and strongly succeed in the future. Tonight, we welcome two young people whose lives reflect the First Lady's impact, Sierra Burns and Everest Nevermont. Thank you both. And Melania, thank you. I know how hard you worked on it. Thank you very much.
Baron's looking a little tired tonight.
I'm very proud to say that during my
Dude's
time in
worth like
office,
$1
both
billion already.
the first 4 years, and in particular,
Just
this
with
last
crypto.
year, there has been a tremendous renewal in religion, faith, Christianity, and belief in God. Tremendous renewal.
Very good. Who'd have thought that President Donald Trump would be the one to usher in the new age of Christianity in America?
This is especially true among young people, and a big part of
True.
that had to do with my great friend, Charlie Kirk, a great guy, great man.
True. Oh, look, Erica's there.
So last year, Charlie was violently murdered by an assassin and martyred, really martyred for his beliefs. His wonderful wife, Erica, is with us tonight. Erica, please stand. Thank you, Erica. Been through a lot. In Charlie's memory, we must all come together to reaffirm that America is one nation under God, and we must totally reject political violence of any kind.
Will the Democrats stand for that one? Let's see. Ah, finally we got him up. All right, okay. They're like, okay, all right. We don't want violence.
We love religion.
We'll
and we
reluctantly
love
get up for
bringing
that,
it
but
back, and it's coming back.
we're not
at
gonna
levels
clap
that
too
nobody
loudly.
Actually, thought possible. It's really a beautiful thing to see. Above all, unleashing America's promise requires keeping our communities safe. We have made incredible strides, yet dangerous repeat offenders continue to be released by pro-crime Democrat politicians again and again. We are honored to be joined tonight by a woman who's been through hell, Anya Zarutska. In 2022, she and her beautiful daughter, so beautiful, what a beautiful young woman, Irina, fled war-torn Ukraine to live with relatives near Charlotte, North Carolina. And by the way, what's going on with Charlotte? Last summer, 23-year-old Irina was riding home on the train
What do you mean
when
by
a
that?
deranged monster who had been arrested over a dozen times and was released through no cash bail stood up and viciously slashed a knife through her neck and body. No one will ever forget. There were people on that train. No one will ever forget the expression of terror on Irina's face as she looked up at her attacker in the last seconds of her life. She died instantly. She had escaped a brutal war only to be slain by a hardened criminal set free to kill in America. Came in through open borders. Mrs. Zarutska, tonight I promise you we will ensure justice for your magnificent daughter, Irina. How do you not stand? How do you not stand? I'm asking this Congress to pass tough
True.
legislation to ensure that violent and dangerous repeat offenders are put behind bars, and importantly, that they stay there. Starting last summer, I deployed our National Guard and federal law enforcement to restore law and order to our most dangerous cities, including Memphis, Tennessee, big success, New Orleans, Louisiana, big success, and our nation's capital itself, Washington, D.C., where we have almost no crime anymore in Washington, D.C. How did that happen? In fact, crime in Washington is now at the lowest level ever recorded, and murders in D.C. this January were down close to 100% from a year ago. They don't like to hear that. One of the sick people, one of the brave service members who helped achieve this stunning turnaround was 20-year-old West Virginia Army National Guard Specialist Sarah Beckstrom. After a 4-month deployment, she voluntarily extended her service, and her rank was going to be lifted. She was doing so well. They were so proud of her. But the very next day, she was on patrol.
This is another
near the
one. This
White
is
House
like
when she
at
was
least
ambushed
now
and
10 people
shot
he's
in
called
the
out.
head by a terrorist monster from Afghanistan.
I mean,
Shouldn't have been in our country.
you
And
feel
all
for these
because she
families, but
wore
I mean,
the
how many of them
uniform
are there
our
going to be?
nation. She was shot. He traveled here because he didn't like people wearing our uniform. He was sick and deranged. Shouldn't have been in our country. Sarah Beckstrom died in order to defend our capital, and we are honored to be joined by her wonderful parents, Gary and Eva Lee. Your daughter was a true American patriot, and she will be greatly missed. She was a great person. I saw reports on her. They've never seen anything like her. So sorry. Thank you very much. a great young lady. I saw reports that were like, perfect. She was perfect. Serving alongside Sarah that day was Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf. The terrorist shot Andrew in the head, and no one thought he could possibly make it. The two of them, Sarah and Andrew, both shot violently in the head. Neither was expected to make it. They weren't even given a chance, except his wonderful mother, named Melody, who I spoke to the same night. And she was so positive. The doctors thought that Andrew was gone. But his mother said, no, Mr. President, Andrew will be fine. He's going to make it. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, he was given almost no chance. She said, I have no doubt, sir, he's going to be okay. This was a conversation that I had with her that night, with her son laying helplessly in bed, blood all over. Everybody is praying, she said, sir, he will be okay. The doctors didn't understand what she was saying. And after looking at the results of the damage done, neither did I. She was so strong and conclusive that even Andrew's great father felt she didn't really understand the gravity of the situation. But she turned out to be right. Right, Melody? She turned out to be right. Amazing, actually. I said, where does this woman come from? She's the most positive person I've ever met. With God's help, Andrew has battled back from the edge of death, and we're talking about the edge of death, on his way to a miraculous recovery. He's got a little work to do, but he's doing great. Nice to see you. He's a good-looking guy. Nice to see you. Thanks, Andrew. Thank you very much. So, Andrew, while you're up, now I'm going to ask a highly respected General James Seward to present Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf and the great family of Sarah Beckstrom with the award created by our late, great President George Washington himself. It's called the Purple Heart. We love you all. Love you. We're proudly restoring safety for Americans at home, and we are also restoring security for Americans abroad. Our country has never been stronger. In my first 10 months, I ended 8 wars, including Cambodia. Isn't it funny? Sick people. Cambodia and Thailand, Pakistan and India. Would have been a nuclear war. 35 million people said the Prime Minister of Pakistan would have died if it were not for my involvement. Kosovo and Serbia, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia, Armenia and Azerbaijan, the Congo and Rwanda, and of course the war in Gaza, which proceeds at a very low level. It's just about there. And I want to thank Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner for your help. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Jared. And I also want to thank the man they report to, Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Thank you, Marco. People don't like you. You know, Marco got 100% of the votes when he was in confirmation. I think our next one was about 54%. And some of the Democrats are now saying, I can't believe we approved that guy. And he said it's an honor that they feel that way, right, Marco? You have done a great job, great Secretary of State. I think he'll go down as the best ever. Under the ceasefire I negotiated, every single hostage, both living and dead, has been returned home. Can you believe that? Nobody thought it was possible. Nobody thought that was possible. Both living and dead. And those parents who had a dead son, their boy, they'd always tell me their boy, they wanted him as much as though he were living. It was an amazing period of time. They came back, and when we got all of the living hostages back, and many, many before them, but I always said those last 20 are going to be very tough, but we got many, many more, hundreds. But I said those last 20 are going to be tough. We got them back. But we only got back 14 or 15 of the dead of the 28. And believe it or not, Hamas worked along with Israel, and they dug and they dug and they dug. It's a tough thing to do, going through bodies all over, passing up 100 bodies sometimes for each one that they found. Tough job. And they finally got it back to 27. And then Steve and Jared, they got it back to 28. They found all 28. Nobody thought that was possible, but we did it. And I remember the family of the 28th. They were so grieved, but they were so happy as it's possible to be. They had their boy back. The mother said, "Sir, we have our boy back." What a period of time that was, but we got them all back. So thank you both very much. Great job. And we're working very hard to end the ninth war, the killing and slaughter between Russia and Ukraine, where 25,000 soldiers are dying each and every month. Think of that, 25,000 soldiers are dying a month. A war which would have never happened if I were president, would have never happened. As president, I will make peace wherever I can, but I will never hesitate to confront threats to America wherever we must. That's why in a breakthrough operation last June, the United States military obliterated Iran's nuclear weapons program with an attack on Iranian soil known as Operation Midnight Hammer. For decades, it had been the policy of the United States never to allow Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon. Many decades. Since they seized control of that proud nation 47 years ago, the regime and its murderous proxies have spread nothing but terrorism and death and hate.
All right, we're back to the real
They've
speech
killed
now.
and maimed thousands of American service members and hundreds of thousands and even millions of people. with what's called roadside bombs. They were the kings of the roadside bomb. And we took out Soleimani. I did that during my first term. Had a huge impact. He was the father of the roadside bomb. And just over the last couple of months with the protests, they've killed at least, it looks like 32,000 protests, 32,000 protesters in their own country. They shot them and hung them. We stopped them from hanging a lot of them with the threat of serious violence. But this is some terrible people. They've already developed missiles that can threaten Europe and our bases overseas, and they're working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America. After Midnight Hammer, they were warned to make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program, and in particular, nuclear weapons. Yet they continue, starting it all over. We wiped it out, and they want to start all over again, and are at this moment again pursuing their sinister ambitions. We are in negotiations with them. They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have a nuclear weapon. My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen. And no nation should ever doubt America's resolve. We have the most powerful military on earth. I rebuilt the military in my first term. We're going to continue to do so. Also, we just approved a $1 trillion budget. We have no choice. We have to be strong, because hopefully we will seldom have to use this great power that we built together. It's really called peace through strength, and it's been very, very effective. So thanks to Republican in Congress, we're investing that record number of dollars, have no choice, in the United States Armed Forces. Also creating a lot of jobs, but we're not even doing it for that reason. Because as I said, we have more jobs, more people working today than ever before in the history of our country. And NATO countries are friends and allies. They are. They're our friends and they're our allies, have just agreed at my very strong request
Lindsey Graham's so weird.
to pay 5% of GDP for military defense rather than the 2%, which they weren't paying. We were paying for almost all of NATO.
True.
Now they're paying 5 as opposed to not paying 3. And getting that 5% was something which everyone said would never be done, could not happen. We got it really easily. One meeting. And big difference between 2% that's not paid. We were paying the freight of many of them. Very few were paid up. Now 5%.
Pelosi is there. Wow.
And everything we send over to Ukraine is sent through NATO, and they pay us in full. They pay us totally in full. Every branch of our armed forces is setting records for recruitment. This is so exciting. And every service member recently.
So crazy just to see Pelosi like defeated, sitting like, I don't know, in the back row or somewhere. I don't even know where she is. And Trump's up there as president. Just total victory for him over all his enemies.
Of $1,776. You know, they put it on my desk. We got the money from tariffs and other things, a lot of money. We have much more money than people understand. Have to rebuild that program a little bit, but it won't take long.
We have much more money
We
than
got the
people
money, and it was
understand.
$1,775, and they wanted my approval. And I said, "What's the number?" $1,775. I said, "Wait a minute. For one more dollar, we can have 1776. It's going to." I said, "We're going to figure that." I never asked anybody if we could afford it. One more dollar. I said 1776, and I said, "That's good." And I'll tell you what, our military. That was 4 months ago. Our military. I never see a person in the military that doesn't thank me for it. So we're honored to do it. They deserve it. And we call it 1776. It was great. And we love our military. We love our law enforcement. We love our firemen. You know, the firemen don't get mentioned enough. We love our firemen. We're also. We're also restoring American security and dominance in the Western Hemisphere, acting to secure our national interests and defend our country from violence, drugs, terrorism, and foreign interference. For years, large swaths of territory in our region, including large parts of Mexico, really large parts of Mexico, have been controlled by murderous drug cartels. That's why I designated these cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, and I declared illicit fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. And with our new military campaign, we have stopped record amounts of drugs coming into our country and virtually stopped it completely coming in by water or sea. You probably noticed that. We very seriously damaged their fishing industry also. Nobody wants to go fishing anymore. We've also taken down one of the most sinister cartel kingpins of all. You saw that yesterday. In January, In January, elite American warriors carried out one of the most complex, spectacular feats of military competence and power in world history. No one's seen anything like it. Foreign leaders, I won't tell you who, called me and they said, "Very impressive. Very impressive." They couldn't believe. They all watched. They saw what happened. This is a different fighting force that we had years ago when we fought to tie. You know, it's a great fighting force. I'm so proud of it. Look at Space Force. Space Force is my baby. Because we did that. My baby. It's becoming so important.
Ivanka.
And America's armed forces overwhelmed all defenses and utterly defeated an enemy, good fighters, to end the reign of outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro and bring him to face American justice. And this was an absolutely colossal victory for the security of the United States, and it also opens up a bright new beginning for the people of Venezuela. We're working closely with the new president of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez, to unleash extraordinary economic gains for both of our countries and to bring new hope to those who have suffered so terribly. They really did suffer. With us tonight is Alejandro Gonzalez. She grew up in a tight-knit Venezuelan family and was especially close to her beloved uncle Enrique. But after Enrique ran for office and opposed Maduro, he was kidnapped by Maduro's security forces and thrown into the regime's really infamous prison in Caracas. Alejandro feared she would never see her uncle again. She feared for her own life also. But since the raid, we have worked with the new leadership, and they have ordered the closure of that vile prison and released hundreds of political prisoners already, with more to come. Alejandro, I'm pleased to inform you that not only has your uncle been released, but he is here tonight. We brought him over to celebrate his freedom with you in person. Enrique, please come down.
This is person number 15 that's been called out now.
Thank you, Enrique. Have a good time. Nice to have you back, Enrique.
Have a good time.
There were many heroes on that January raid.
Welcome to
capture
America. Have a good
Maduro.
time.
Really great heroes. It was very dangerous. They knew we were coming. They were all set. But the deeds of one warrior that night will live forever in the eternal chronicles of military valor. Chief Warrant Officer 5, Eric Slover, planned the mission and was the flight lead in the cockpit of the first helicopter. A big, beautiful, powerful helicopter. It was a massive Chinook carrying, as you can imagine, many, many American warfighters. Wearing the dog tags, his wife Amy had blessed with holy water before he left. She knew it was going to be a rough one. Eric steered the Chinook under the cover of night and descended swiftly upon Maduro's heavily protected military fortress. This was a major military installation, protected by thousands of soldiers and guarded by Russian and Chinese military technology. How did that work out? Not too good. While preparing to land, enemy machine guns fired from every angle, and Eric was hit very badly in the leg and hip, one bullet after another. He absorbed 4 agonizing shots, shredding his leg into numerous pieces. And yet, despite the fact that the use of his legs was vital to successful helicopter flight, legs are the most important part of flying a helicopter. To deliver the many commandos who would capture and detain Maduro was the only thing Eric was thinking about. Then, even as he was gushing blood, which was flowing back down the aisle, helicopter lands at a steep angle. The machine gun stood right in front of him. They were right in front of him, 2 machine gunners who escaped the wrath of the previous planes. Eric maneuvered his helicopter with all of those lives and souls to face the enemy and let his gunners eliminate the threat. Turned the helicopter around so the gunners could take care of business, saving the lives of his fellow warriors from what could have been a catastrophic crash deep in enemy territory. Only after safely landing the helicopter with all the warriors aboard in the exact right spot, which was vital to the mission, probably would have had maybe cancel the mission if that didn't happen. Eric told his co-pilot, also wounded, but not as gravely, to take over. I'm about ready to pass out. The success of the entire mission and the lives of his fellow warriors hinge on Eric's ability to take searing pain. It was unbelievable what's happened to his legs of the bullets and keep on flying and landing, and people knew what was happening. Everybody in the back of the helicopter knew because they saw the blood pouring down the aisle. Chief Warrant Officer Slover is still recovering from his serious wounds, but I'm thrilled to say that he is here tonight with his wife Amy, Eric, and Amy, come on in.
Hmm.
So we have a surprise for Eric and Amy. In recognition of Eric's actions above and beyond the call of duty, I would now like to ask General Jonathan Braga to present Chief Warrant Officer Slover with our nation's highest military award, the Congressional Medal of Honor.
Well, this guy obviously deserves a call out.
Well, thank you very much, Eric and Amy. Great to get to know you. I met with them and with a lot of their fellow warriors at Fort Bragg recently. You notice the name Fort Bragg. We have it back. We brought it back. We won the First World War with it, the Second World War with it, and then they decided to change the name. So we changed it back. Everybody wanted to change back too. And 10 of Eric's fellow warriors from that incredible night of victory will also be receiving medals at a private.
I didn't know that there
ceremony that will
were.
soon be held at the White House, and Eric will be there.
I didn't know there were service members who were injured in that raid, like so badly. I think I remember them saying that some were injured, but I didn't realize it was like this.
Thank you, Eric. That's a big one. Tonight we've celebrated many truly extraordinary American patriots, but there is one last living legend to honor before
Yes,
we go.
one more.
He is one more heroic American aviator, Navy fighter pilot. Royce Williams served in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, flying more than 220 missions. In the skies over Korea in 1952, Royce was in the dogfight of a lifetime, legendary dogfight. Flying through blizzard conditions, his squadron was ambushed by 7 Soviet fighter planes. It was his first aerial combat of the war, and despite being massively outnumbered and outgunned, Royce led the takedown of 4 enemy jets and almost destroyed the others, vanquishing his adversaries while taking 263 bullets to his own plane and being seriously hurt. His story was secret for over 50 years. He didn't even want to tell his wife, but the legend grew and grew. But tonight, at 100 years old, this brave Navy captain is finally getting the recognition he deserves. He was a legend long before this evening. Royce, please stand up, and I will ask the First Lady of the United States to present Captain Royce Williams with his Congressional Medal of Honor. you, Royce, and thank you, Eric. I've always wanted the Congressional Medal of Honor, but I was informed I'm not allowed to give it to myself, and I wouldn't know why I'd be taking it. But if they ever open up that law, I will be there
Why-
with you someday.
Why?
But you know, that's our highest honor, Congressional Medal of Honor. And that's a
Oh
big
my
thing, and
gosh.
it's an honor to be in the same room with you. Thank you both very much, Eric. Thank you. Thank you. 250 years is a long time in the life of a nation, but in another sense, it's really a mere moment in the eye of history. Two of the gentlemen we met in the gallery this evening took their first breaths 1 century ago, 100 years before that, on July 4th, 1826, the author of the Declaration of Independence, brilliant, Thomas Jefferson, drew his last breath. Just a single long human lifespan separates the giants who declared and won our independence from the heroes who stand among us tonight. Everything our nation has done, everything we have achieved, has been the work of those few great lifetimes. In those brief chapters, Americans built this nation from 13 humble colonies into the pinnacle of human civilization and human freedom, the strongest, wealthiest, most powerful, most successful nation in all of history. Americans ventured out across the daunting and dangerous continent. We carved paths through an unforgiving wilderness, settled a boundless frontier, and tamed the beautiful but very, very dangerous Wild West. From empty marshes and wide open plains, we raised up the world's greatest cities. Together, we mastered the world's mightiest industries, and shattered history's monstrous tyrannies, and we liberated millions from the chains of fascism, communism, oppression, and terror. Americans lifted humanity into the skies on the wings of aluminum and steel, and then we launched mankind into the stars on rockets powered by sheer American will and unyielding American pride. We wired the globe with our ingenuity. We captivated the planet with American culture. And now we are pioneering the next great American breakthroughs that will change the entire world. All of this and so much more is the enduring legacy, unmatched glory of the hardworking patriots who built and defended this country and who still carry the hopes and freedoms on all of humanity's backs. For years, they were forgotten, betrayed, and cast aside. But that great betrayal is over, and they will never be forgotten again. Because when the world needs courage, daring, vision, and inspiration, it is still turning to America. And when God needs a nation to work his miracles, he knows exactly who to ask. There is no challenge Americans cannot overcome, no frontier too vast for us to conquer, no dream too bold for us to chase, no horizon too distant for us to claim. For our destiny is written by the hand of providence, and these first 250 years were just the beginning. From the rugged border towns of Texas to the heartland villages of Michigan, from the sun-kissed shores of Florida to the endless fields of the Dakotas, and from the historic streets of Philadelphia to right here in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., the golden age of America is upon us. The revolution that began in 1776 has not ended. It still continues because the flame of liberty and independence still burns in the heart of every American patriot. And our future will be bigger, better, brighter, bolder, and more glorious than ever before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
All right. And the Democrats dashed for the exits. Another one in the books. There he is. The 45th and 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, serving a second term against all odds and giving his sixth, technically his fourth State of the Union speech in front of a room that was at least half full of his enemies, which must make him very happy. See if we can catch anything interesting here. He's going to have to go past the Supreme Court justices. I always like watching the president enter and exit. Selfie time.
Good job.
All right. It's getting late, so I'm gonna get right into the analysis. Give me 1 second here.
Thank you. Good job. Good bit. Excellent speech.
Let's see if are they gonna cut the feed? Looks like maybe that's what they did. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can get the Fox one back. Do you think the Fox News camera finally found the president? Let's see here. NBC is just like, yeah, we're not watching any more of that. Oh, it looks like Fox did the same thing. Oh, here we go. One second. They love the insider trading stuff.
You did amazing. You really did.
Great speech. Great job, Mr. President.
There's Anna Paulina Luna
Well done. God
from
bless you.
Florida.
God bless you, sir. Thank you so much.
That's a big statement.
Yes, sir. Love the finish.
All right. So I'm gonna turn this down and let's talk about the speech. Okay, so he went on for almost 2 hours. Well, I've been streaming for 2 hours, and I don't think I streamed very long before he began. So I would have to say it's probably close to 2 hours. Let me just make an adjustment here. So yeah, probably about 2 hours. Kind of hard to believe, but he can go on and on. And he likes to give a long speech. The only time I've ever seen him give a short speech is his first inauguration, which was like 30 minutes or something, which was very odd for an inauguration. But so let's dive straight into it since it's late. I actually ordered a pizza while the speech was on, so that might come during my during my explanation here and during my analysis. So there were a few observations that I made. The first one is, if you were looking for some kind of full-throated defense of the Trump America First 2016-esque type agenda, you really did not get that tonight. And you can say that's good or bad. I'm just giving you the analysis now. I mean, we can talk about whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing in another stream, because I could really, really get into that. But strictly from an analysis point of view, this was not a Steve Bannon speech. This was not the Trump of old, populist, nationalist. It was none of that. Stylistically, of course, Trump is still Trump. He still jokes. He still pokes and prods the Democrats. He still rubs it in their faces. He's still cocky. He's still full of strength and humor. But let me just see. And I'm just gonna come out of this. I don't think we need to keep a B-roll in the back. I mean, I guess we can just keep like Fox on in the background or something if you guys want. 1 second. This is so annoying. I'm sorry. So it was not the Trump of old, populist, nationalist, America first type speech. It's clear to me, and what I was going to say is that stylistically, it was still Trumpian. Stylistically, he's still reaming the Democrats and bragging and rubbing it in their faces. And there were a few times where he did make them look like fools, where they didn't even stand up for things that almost every American would probably stand up for. So in that sense, you know, he sort of was his normal self. But policy-wise, there wasn't much there from the old Trump agenda. And this is what I've been talking about since the election, really. The only real thing you got was about 2 minutes on tariffs, 2 to 5 minutes on tariffs, and how they're doing wonders for the economy, and the United States of America is bringing in millions and billions of dollars, and trade deals are getting done, and he has leverage, and all those things are true, and all those things are from the old. Absolutely wrong tonight. Okay, there. Can you hear me? Let me just check. And he has leverage, and all those things are true, and all those things are from the old. 1 second. Absolutely wrong tonight. Okay, there. So, if you were looking for 2016 Trump, populist nationalist Trump, that wasn't it. You got 5 minutes on tariffs and how they're bringing in billions and giving him leverage over other leaders for trade deals, which is true. That's all true. Then you got 5 minutes on illegal immigration and Somalis in Minnesota, and he went really, really hard for about 5 minutes, and you really got a taste of what the old Trump policy-wise was like. But that only lasted for about 5 minutes as well. So out of about an hour and a half speech, hour and 45-minute long speech, you really only got like 10, 15, 20 minutes max of America first populism, nationalism, that kind of thing. It's very clear that what has happened here is that Trump, even though he is still stylistically himself, and even though he still has the same humor-filled, cocky personality he's always had, he is now being led policy-wise and agenda-wise by Susie Wiles, by Marco Rubio, by J.D. Vance. And in that sense, the old GOP has sort of won in a way. I hate to say it, but it's you can't really deny it any longer that the old GOP has really gotten a little stronger of a hold over him than they've ever really had. And now what you're seeing is this sort of moderation or an attempt to mix in the old Trumpism with traditional GOP politics and agenda and policy positions and nuances in an attempt to make the old Trump voters, the original Trump voters, the populist nationalist voters, working class whites, the whole coalition he came to the White House on in 2016, 2017. It's trying to keep those people on board while not giving away that, yeah, we've kind of gone back to business as usual a little bit. So, and again, this is my analysis. I'm going to do a whole other stream where I give sort of my opinion about that and whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing. Obviously, I think you know where I'm going to stand on that. But this speech was honestly, it was very strange. Of course, you know I'm a supporter of the president. You know I like him. I love him. I'm a huge backer of his. And I think there were some good parts of the speech, like I mentioned. I like that he brought the U.S. Olympic team in. I thought that was really cool. I thought it was timely, and I thought it was unifying in a way. You see all these tough young hockey guys in the stands coming through, and it's just a good image for the country. It's a good image for him. And it really shows, especially after the beginning of the Olympics, where there were all these athletes going on and on about Trump and the country and how they're not as proud to serve under the flag and because of everything going on, and we don't support this, we don't support that. It was kind of nice to just completely push that to the side and say, look, this entire hockey team, I think with the exception of 5 guys, is here. And they came to the White House, and now they're at the State of the Union. And there's no doubt that a good percentage of those players are supportive of Trump, or at least like him personally. So that was a good part of the speech. As I say, the immigration part was good. The part where he started saying how he's going to go after fraud and the days are over of all this crap going on in Minnesota. We're going to go and get back all the money, and the United States is going to get rich because you're not going to believe all this fraud going on. That was good. The tariff stuff was good. But I don't feel like he went hard enough against the Supreme Court. I thought he was just going to go all out against them. Now, I think this is his advisors steering him away from his natural tendencies, which his natural tendency would be to ram it down their throats and say, you are responsible, and name them. Name each judge who voted in favor of this ruling and say, you are destroying our country. You are destroying our economy. You are taking away all our leverage. And you think you can do that from the bench? You're no worse than leftists who govern from the bench. So I kind of thought he would do that, and he didn't really do it. He kind of said something to the effect of, well, it was a very unfortunate ruling, And he kind of does this thing now too, where he doesn't speak as strongly and forcefully as he used to. His speeches used to be much more full of vigor and strength and bold colors. Now it's kind of like him up there doing a little shtick, and kind of going off on little tangents. And I guess you can call it the weave or call it whatever you want to call it. But he's definitely not giving the American carnage type speech that he gave in 2017 and then the GOP convention in 2016. Very strong, very speeches that the media, remember the media, they used to call the speeches dark. They used to say, oh, it was a dark speech, which what that really meant was it was populist and it was nationalist and it was strong. And it was something that the American public had not really heard from a presidential candidate in a long, long time, if ever. Never mind an actual president. So, I would encourage you to go watch his old speeches. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you watch his old stuff, you're going to see exactly what I'm saying. It's a much, much different type of speech. So there's that. I thought, and look, all these people more than deserve to be called out. These are people who've been through hell. Their loved ones have been murdered. They've had family members being held as political prisoners. All the different things going on. They've had their lives destroyed. They've almost died. It's just one story after another. And so obviously they deserve to be up there, of course. But I think it was way, way too much of the call outs. There was it felt like there was 10 to 15 call outs to the crowd. I mean, this is something that presidents have started to do this for a while. But now it's like it's constant. Like the whole speech felt like it was just call outs. We can get rid of this woman now, right? Yeah. So the whole speech basically just felt like it was constant calling out people from the crowd. And there's this story, and here's another story, and this person from Dayton, Ohio, and this person from so and so, California, and this story, and that story, and this medal, and that award. And look, these people deserve every bit of it. They deserve them, especially the guy who was in the Venezuelan operation. I had no idea there were like badly wounded service members. But anyway, they more than deserve it. Again, I liked that the hockey team was there. All that was good, but it's just like it felt like the whole speech was that. And what kind of happens is what should be the unveiling of an agenda. Here is what we are going to do. Here is the policy of the United States. Here is what I, as a president, believe. Here is what we're going to venture out on. And here are the hills we're going to conquer in the next year. And here's what we've done. And here's what we're going to do. It wasn't that. It was more like, here's something. Here's a policy proposal that we want Congress to pass. Now let's go to the crowd for an example of someone who would benefit. Okay, now on to policy proposal number 2. And now let's go to the crowd, the person in the crowd who will benefit. When I think these speeches are a great opportunity for him to truly go hard, like show it, like get up there and just lay out the whole agenda. Lay out who's ruining the country, lay out what's going on, lay out how the country is being destroyed in this, that way, and the other way. And here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to stop it. Here's how we're going to implement it. Here's what we believe. And here's why, here's what our mandate was, and here's how we intend to execute that mandate. And honestly, there wasn't really much of that. To the extent that there was any talk about illegal immigration, it was sort of only the Somali thing in Minnesota. He had one line there where about we want legal immigrants, which is certainly a diversion from where he used to be in 2016. So again, I'm not here to tell you whether or not that's good or bad. That's just my analysis. And my analysis is that stylistically, he's still Trumpian, but he's a little bit more kind of, I don't know, carefree, like jokey, lighthearted, humorous than he is sort of determined. It wasn't a speech of a determined man. It was a speech of a man who kind of maybe feels like whatever is going to happen is going to happen. Here's how ridiculous the Democrats are. Look how they won't stand for these obvious good things. They're extreme. They're crazy. They're nutty. Here are a few boilerplate GOP proposals that are going to make the country better. And we hope you get on board for it in the midterms. That's kind of what it was like. Whereas when Bannon was in charge, it was, I am a new kind of politician. I'm a new kind of president. This is not the same as the old bosses. We are going to do things a lot differently. Here's what we're going to do. Here's how extreme we're going to get. Here are the problems facing us. And here are our solutions that are just as extreme as the problems have been. So I think the speech was more an indication of who is advising him than what he's actually thinking. And so in that sense, again, I feel like the old Trump agenda is sort of maybe running on fumes now. And there's nobody really there to try and resurrect that and try and push that and try and articulate that. Of course, Trump himself has all of these ideas and inclinations himself. He in his heart is a populist and a nationalist. He in his heart believes in tariffs, believes in immigration restriction, believes in America first. But in the end, what comes out is sort of not that. It's more, well, if we have to invade Iran, we're going to invade Iran. Don't know what to tell you. Tax cuts are good for the economy. Tariffs, well, I was doing really well with tariffs, but unfortunately, the Supreme Court came in, and now, well, the countries want to keep the old tariffs anyway. We'll see what happens. So you know what I mean? It was kind of a very like, we'll kind of see what happens, ho hum type of speech, and that doesn't really take away from my admiration for Trump and what he's done. I mean, the thing that's remarkable, and we have to remind ourselves of this, is that he's president and he's overcome all this. I mean, think about where we were 2 years ago at this time, where he was, I mean, what, like I would have given it like a 70% chance he was going to prison for the rest of his life. And now he's president again. Nancy Pelosi's sitting in the cheap seats there, looking like she's on her last legs, and Trump is standing up there triumphantly. So that aspect of the speech is nice to watch. He's up there. He triumphed. He survived. He's president again. He's in total control. He's back on top. He's back in charge. He's back running the country. He's back calling the shots. He's back being king of America. And all the Democrats can do is whine and cry and moan and yell and scream like idiots and like complete lunatics. So that aspect of it is nice to see. It's nice to see him ribbing them a little bit. And as I said, there were glimmers during the speech of like what we used to see out of him. But a lot of it was just him kind of rambling a little bit about things. And I just look, I know that's how he is, and I know he's comfortable doing it that way. But this is the State of the Union. This is the time to slap your agenda on the table and say, hey, here's what here's what's going on here. Here's what it is. Here's what we want to do. Here's our prescriptions. Here's here is the agenda. Here are the possible roadblocks, and here's how we're going to drive straight through those roadblocks. Here's why the other side would be horrible and a horrible alternative to us. Here's the contrast. Here's what they believe. Here is what we believe. And there needs to be some kind of formality to that. It can't really be a series of interjections and musings. It has to be a well-written, articulate speech that's delivered 95% off the teleprompter. And for better or for worse, that's just not him. He's just, I mean, there was a time when he was able to do that and did that. But right now, that's just not what I'm seeing. And so I know I maybe people watch that and they think that's like, they think, oh, I've given up on Trump or something. That's not the case at all. Everybody knows how I feel about Trump and my adamant support for him. But I want to see him implement his agenda, not the establishment's agenda. So, look, all in all, he's up there. He's president. It's nice to see. It's nice to see him standing up there triumphantly. And I know he already gave us technically not State of the Union speech, but he gave a joint session to Congress last January, which I covered live. So this is not like this is his first time giving this speech in front of a joint session since he won the election again. But it's nice to see him up there. It's nice to see him strong. And I hope that he can lean more towards the old Trump than what has become of the Trump administration. And look, I think it's being run by Susie Wiles, and Susie Wiles has a different agenda than Steve Bannon does. So that isn't to say that I don't agree with a lot of the policy proposals. That isn't to say that I don't think that they're going to help the country, be good for the country. But he needs to focus on his main things: tariffs, no foreign wars, immigration. Those are the three pillars. The three pillars of Trumpism: immigration restriction, tariffs, trade deals, all in one, and stopping foreign wars. Those were the three pillars, with some tax cuts mixed in to stimulate the economy, maybe a little deregulation here and there just to keep everybody happy in the GOP, and that's the Trump agenda. And he seems to focus more on a bunch of other things than his strengths. And I've said that's why he won the election, and that's why I was one of the few people who said that the debate between him and Kamala Harris last summer was actually good for him, because he pounded immigration and he just would not stop beating the immigration drum, and that's what won the election for him, the first time and the second time. So, but he doesn't really spend a lot of time talking about that. In a great opportunity to speak to the nation, he doesn't pound the drum as much as he used to on that, which I think is a missed opportunity. That's just me. I don't want to see the Trump administration turn into like 2005 GOP. I don't want to think that basically we have like a cooler version of Jeb Bush. I kind of like Trump for what he stood for when he ran in 2016. And I mean, you can tell he turns it on when he wants to, but there's people around him who are reining that tendency in and reining him in on those areas where I think he needs to be stronger. But look, was it a good speech? Yeah, it was a good speech. Was it a great speech? Probably not. But again, I'm happy he's there. Happy he's president. Great to see him bringing the Team USA out. And it was funny to hear him say, like, we're getting tired of winning and all that, because it reminds me of one of the first rallies I went to in Buffalo, hearing him talking about that. You're going to get tired of winning. And that was in 2016. That was in April of 2016. That was almost 10 years ago that I went to that Trump rally with a bunch of friends in Buffalo, New York. And I went to another one down here in Florida when he came to Doral 2 summers ago during the election. So that's that. And I honestly, yeah, I think the calling out people in the crowd it's gotten too much. I don't know when that started to become a thing, but it is now, and that's like all they do now. It's just like the whole speech is just calling people out in the crowd, and I know why they're doing it. They're doing it because they think they can win women for the midterms. They think they can get the moderate voters, the independent. If we talk about healthcare, there is no Republican plan for healthcare. I'm sorry to say, but there really isn't. Like, that's the one issue the Democrats seem to have an edge on. And trying to act as though there is a policy when there isn't one is kind of like, why don't you focus on our strengths? So that it is what it is. Look, I'm not gonna come on here and sugarcoat it and say this was the best speech he ever gave, because it definitely wasn't the best speech he ever gave. And I think the times when he was giving truly great speeches, there was somebody else writing it. There was somebody else crafting the policy. Now, again, it's not as though Steve Bannon crafted the policy and handed it to Trump and he just read off the paper. No, Trump has those beliefs. Trump really does believe in all those things. But I do also believe he's heavily influenced by those around him and what people are saying to him and what they're advising him. And right now, I think he's being advised by boilerplate type GOP politicians and advisors. Susie Wiles herself was sitting in the front row. Her, J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio. Remember, these people are not Trump people. They weren't Trump people from the beginning, and now they're advising him. So it's kind of a sticky situation for him. But of course, it's better to have him there. I'll take him over over everybody, honestly. And I still love the guy. He still makes me laugh. He's hilarious. He's funny. He's charming. He's very comfortable on up there. I've never seen a president more comfortable giving a State of the Union than him. Just absolute, like, I don't even think his heart rate goes up a notch at all doing that. I think he's just like totally used to it and totally comfortable and confident and comfortable in his own skin. And he's funny. There were some lines I should have wrote down all the lines that made me laugh, but there were some good ones. Like there were times too where he's like, look at these people. They don't even stand for like the most obvious thing. Like he says, like he literally did it. And I forgot about that. That was another good part he had. He goes, okay, now everyone stand now if you believe that we should worry about American citizens before illegal immigrants. And like the entire Democrat Party was sitting. And it's like, and I actually thought that was a very clever thing to do because you really show people. One of the things that you hear a lot when you're talking to like normal people, not political people like myself, when you talk to normal people, they'll say something like they might not like Trump, but they prefer him to the crazy Democrats. Like the Democrats are now seen as like the crazy party. I think for a while, the Republicans were seen that way. Like the Republicans are too extreme. Remember, like in the Romney era, it was like Todd Aiken and people like that. And it's like, yeah, and Christine O'Donnell and people are like, eh. I wasn't like that, but normal people who aren't like very conservative and stuff were like, yeah, that's a little bit too extreme for me. Now it's the opposite. Now people see the Democrats as totally out to lunch, like totally nutcase crazy. They look at Ilhan Omar, and believe me, every second that camera stayed on Ilhan Omar and that whatever that woman is beside her, the GOP gained like, I don't know, 10,000 votes, new voters in the midterms every time, more 100,000 every second the camera was on those two because they are absolute lunatics. Like you can see it. You don't even need to hear them speak. You don't need to hear them say anything. And I hate to be so prejudiced in that way, but it's literally true. You look at them and you're like, these people are lunatics. It's like Looney Tunes, crazy people. So that was another clever thing that he did, like calling them out in that way. So anyways, it's way too late now. What time is it even? It's 11:30. A speech went on forever. I love the State of the Union. That's why I stream it live. I've always loved watching it. This is actually my 20th year watching the State of the Union. I started in 2006, I believe, as a kid watching it, and now here we are. And look, I was looking forward actually to seeing what he said about the Supreme Court, and it was kind of a letdown. I'm like, oh, that's all you're gonna say? But of course, he's being constrained. People are telling him, no, you can't, mix politics. The Supreme Court is just not done. You can't do that. And he, I guess, obliged because he needs to win the midterms or something. I don't know. So, anyways, it was fine. It was fun. I had a good time watching with you all as I do every year. As I said, I'm trying to stream again so I can talk a little bit more and get a little deeper into what's going on in the White House and why the Trump agenda has kind of swerved into something that maybe it never used to be. So anyway, we'll discuss that on another night. It's already 11:30. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for subscribing to those who did subscribe. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Florida Millennial. You can hit I think it's in the bottom left or bottom right. I think it's down here. Down there. Follow me on X, FLA Millennial. Go on TikTok and follow me there, Florida Millennial as well. I always forget to mention TikTok. I do really well on TikTok. So, thank you for joining, for all who did, and another State of the Union in the books for 2026, and the 45th and 47th President of the United States. Thank you. Oh, there is. Oh, no, never mind. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you when I see you. Good night.